2. Apes versus GTD. Let's look to see what we have here. We have a red number stack. We do have Apes on the defense. Pause the music as we go into this. Let's look at see how the compositions are looking like. We have some pretty standard. I do see Order of the Dragon by GTD, which is very interesting, and a Sippy as well. But nothing. Oh, GTD bringing quite a few unique units that we don't normally see here by other teams. Bringing those dragons, bringing some queens, got some Wuxing pikemen in there as well. On the side of the apes, looks like they are a fairly standard couple with actually quite a few Koreans. Got those rat pikes, starting the rat pikes and the Koodaliers, running the double doppel, double doppel, and a hell of a lot of Kokos. 4 Zycalia militia by apes, where GTD only has 2. So definitely going to be a little bit of a specialty difference there. We will see how that pans out for both sides. Apes on the defense will be doing it. Thank you, too nice for the Prime sub. I appreciate you. This guy's great. As we go with this matchup, we have seen some Reggie defenses before, and I think Reggie defense is Reggie is a little bit more favored towards the defenders, but there's so much time on this map that really it could go either way. There's a lot of time, and 2 artillery pieces for the attackers definitely brings it a little bit more in position for GTD, but we will see exactly how this goes. As red, as GTD does have a lot of cav here, so they are prepared for apes if apes does decide to sally, and it does look like apes is deciding to sally here, or at least opening the gate for GTD. And looks like GTD is thinking about going in. They're thinking about if they want to go in. Koodalier charge does catch most of these Sippies. The amazing value by the Koodaliers, and another Koodalier charge goes straight through, getting a lot more of GTD's units. They're just losing a lot of units to these Koodaliers. They do not have their anti-cav in position for this sally, as they now flood into the A point, sending a hell of cav, sending all these Liaos, sending the dragon. But it doesn't look like their cav is going to do too much. They do carry the right side of point there, now transitioning, carrying over into the left side here. The flaming comment was placed, but it was instantly broken. It's now GTD carries through their momentum. Will they be able to carry this team all the way to C point? It does look like they are trying. They do have the dragon at the point. It does look like they see the Coco, but are not able to get to the Coco on time. York is stalling the C supply, but now GTD is already on the point here. This looks like it will be a really fast match if apes cannot get back onto this C point. They do. GTD still doesn't have the C point, so spawns will be close by for apes, but it's still going to be a little bit sketchier as GTD now gets their respawners in. They have a slight foothold on this C point, but it's not a lot to be able to hold them, as now apes pushes through the small gate. Nothing early that GTD could go there. They're getting their units back in and try to get the value, and Laos go in, but how much of a double Liao goes into these Spartans? The Doppelzahner did not silence them on the cooldown there, as the Spartans now walk these Modaos. Well, it does look like apes will be regathering and getting back onto the C point, as GTD now running out of steam. So apes now gets point. We have a Yorkus from apes goes into the other Yorks, but does look like GTD won that exchange. 12.5 man on the clock. Plenty of for anything gonna happen here. Who am I spectating? Give me off this guy. Give me to Malabreak. This guy works too. As 12 minutes on the clock, plenty of time for GTD to do really anything they want there, and looks like they're placing up here. Trying to bait out some artillery here. Just sitting on the stairs. Probably pivoting now, resetting up, getting their artillery barrage. Plenty of time to do artillery bullshit. Prepping the gate, get a little bit more open for them. Actually, that doesn't increase the opening. Not bad. My fault, gang. GTD having one person on that B point, DB, but there is, Apes does have a bastard sword over here. And they got Beast, and it does look like he will be pressuring this dual blade. The dual blade will immediately leave. Will he be able to fully get out? Runs into the Queen's Knights, but the Queens already used their ability, so it doesn't look like they will be able to win versus the Yorks. No, the Yorks will beat those Queens Knights. The Queens just used their ability a little bit too early to immune the initial damage and will go down to the Yorks. Bastard Sword goes in to try to get a little bit of trade there. Does find some of the Yorks, but definitely not enough for trading a Queens into it. Job by Apes getting that Queen value. Unfortunately, the Queens by GTD were just not getting what they want. Let's look at the unit trades here. It does look like GTD is up quite a lot of units here. 400 unit advantage. But Apes does have a lot of 5 costs, so we will see if that will make a difference here. 13.5 men doesn't look like plenty of time for GTD or whatever. They're doing an already barrage here, but I think it's going to be very hard to get any real hits and getting any value from their artillery, as a lot of stuff is hiding in this tower, as you could see here, and they're also over here by the small gate, and it's very hard for any artillery to really hit in there. It does look like they have one mortar that has an amazing angle into the entrance there, so they are getting some damage in, but it's not going to be a lot, and it's not too consistent either. And so you patiently wait, and ooh, big mortar hit there. Can I see exactly how many? Kind of hard to see it, but the Cocos are still alive, full HP. I was really worried what's happening, and if they are too pressured out, they can very quickly go to the supply and come back up. Not that far of a rotation. So we're just waiting for time to go down. GTD having those very far right mortars to be able to pepper down Apes. I'm impressed that Apes isn't sending any of their muskets over here to deal with these mortars. It's a little bit confusing here, especially since these mortars are definitely within musket bomb range. So it's very interesting to see that they are not going to be sending anybody to go deal with it. Maybe they are not that worried about these mortars, as they also much don't seem to do anything. GTD pressure coming over to this small entrance. Also losing most of their Vipers to that musket player. Bringing muskets up here is definitely very risky, especially with I mean, being a Vipers up there is definitely very risky, especially with going against muskets. As now GTD gets a little bit of a foothold in. It's very, very slowly as they place the flaming comets. It's just a flaming comet fight. Nobody's pushing. We're just waiting for our comets to farm, as volley after volley goes in and does heaps of damage, even in the trade more and more into Apes' favor. It's Apes having, you know, 4 flaming comets going in there as they actually push out into GTD, which comes in here. Thank you, firework rocket. It's pushing into the GTD. It doesn't look like they are winning into that exchange, but now GTD is wrapping around. Apes loses their Cocos. Looking actually very rough for Apes here, running kind of low on units, but they are getting a little bit of infantry. It does look like their supply has been captured, so they will not be able to pull any fresh units from there. And that supply is very far away, but it does look like they won the infantry fight. They just had that sustain. I was able to live a lot longer than GTD. As now Apes regathers up. GTD regrouping, realizing that they lost push. We do have a short sword blocking the supply, so GTD really couldn't bring any more reinforcements in here. Good job by Apes realizing that they were winning the fight, so they didn't need to worry about their supply that much. and good job winning that first engagement. It does look like GTD is trying to keep the pressure up. They do send the Yorks in, but it immediately gets caught by the Liaos. Dismount comes in, but it's a little bit too little, too late. Liaos trying to come in there, but it doesn't look like they are able to do much of anything either. Now we are done. 9.5 minutes on the clock. Still plenty of time. They said that's a big trip on those medalls. I guess we're just having a little bit of a AFK fit there. Unfortunate there from Burko. I just didn't realize he was getting trebbed, I guess. Still plenty of time. Apes only has 4 artillery pieces left compared to GTD's 10. So still heavy RT advantage in terms of GTD, but Apes does have still... While Apes does have less units, they do have higher quality of those 5-cost units. Plenty of Spartans, plenty of Modals will do great things. It looks like GTD is going to do a little bit more of an artillery barrage. They did do this artillery barrage before. They didn't do too much in the first time. See, the second time it goes in. As we go into the deaths, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on GTE are on their last life, where Apes has 3 people on their last life. So definitely a little bit rougher for the GTD. Having a little bit more people on their last life. Definitely don't like to see that. It's going to be... I'll have to play a little bit more careful here. That definitely looks like they are running heavier onto the infantry. A lot more anti-cav in this push here, running those modal, those phalanx, and stalwarts, not really having any Spartans, it looks like. So we'll see how that goes into how this engagement goes. Apes does have their Spartans remaining. As you can see, there's still plenty of them in this tower. Kind of hard to tell because the icons overlap. We can do it through this way once I figure out the... looks like Apes has 3. They do have 5 Spartans on the field, so a lot of Spartans compared to GTD not having a singular Spartan, but a lot of stalwarts. We'll see how the stalwarts fare against the Spartan walk. Looks like GTD doing an artiface. Doesn't look like they're getting too much value here. Probably hitting a few things, getting a little bit of damage in here, but Berserkers don't mind getting hit every once in a while. They have plenty of health to mitigate through that, even though they don't have passive regen. Let's pivot to like this camera angle. Kind of hard. Pivot to this camera angle. Yeah, it's best of 1. Everything's here. It doesn't look like Apes plays the grape shot, which is definitely an interesting play here by the Apes players. I guess they believe that that grape shot will not get sniped by this artillery phase, which is definitely brave of them, because this grape shot is definitely in range of any of these mortars, and GTD for sure sees that this grape shot's here. We've had enough mortar shots that somebody knows that's there and it's being communicated about, but we'll see if it's really gonna, if they ever kill it before this push happens. Interface coming in. It doesn't look like this already is hitting anything. Everyone's kind of full HP. They're not really dying. Apes also has a 4 unit of Kokos when they have a Spartan, but maybe that is the only Koko. It does look like that is the only Koko. No, they have another person with Psychalian Militia. I guess we're just swapping to the better one. Or the other one is also low. Who knows? Wind. GTD also has a Fort Brascio. Hold on. I need to look at Fort Brascio docs. It's important for me. No lifesteal on the Fort Brascio. Yikes. Looks like GTD is now doing another push here, going all the way around to the backside of C here. Very interesting here. I don't know if they have the units to be doing a double pull. In case they do, it does look... it looks like all of them are basically on their last unit, and the last rotation of units won't be anything important, so it's definitely going to be a little bit rough for them, as Apes now places a flaming comet facing the breach there. Not the breach, my bad. Hold on, I realize I'm window capturing. There we go. Sorry about that. Like we're back and good. That's just game capture. As GTD rotated over here, but doesn't look like they're really doing that. They're kind of just waiting it out. Maybe they were hoping for Apes to push them, but Apes holding strong, realizing they don't have to push out into GTD at all, and instead just gonna hold. GTD plays a very good aerial comment up here onto the Apes home point. Will do some good devastating value onto Apes position, but doesn't look like it's getting that much. Actually doesn't look like it has that great of an angle now that I've actually looked at it. Unfortunate from them, they just didn't place it in the right spot. These Spartans are kind of trolled by Yoba. Maybe they're just inting. Maybe it's the int, I don't know. Spartan walk comes in, does look like GG trying to bait Apes into the engagement. It does look like they are taking this engagement as this fight rages on. We have to shoot Stinger from Ape's side, healing the blob as they push into GTD. Will they be able to get through? However, the flaming comet going in as well. It does look like Apes did lose on the small staircase, but it does look like they are trading evenly into the main push area. Actually, it looks like Apes are running out kind of a lot of units. Very good. GTD holding strong. Then the stalwarts holding strong. Stalwarts and the Models doing amazing job holding, but they do not have that many units remaining, and Apes still have plenty of units coming back into this fight, and it does look like Apes will be winning this unit trade, pushing back into GTD. You know, I'm pushing into the GTD as Apes goes straight through. The Treb was coming in, but it looks like every single one of the Treb balls unfortunately missed horribly, and this will be going into favor of Apes on a successful Reginopolis defense. Even with that very shaky start there, it does look like they're starting with green rat pike spam. Worked out really well into GTD, trading Apes trading their green units for the Sally Cup. Does look like we're trying to go one more push in here. I don't know if GTD really has the people, all of them on their last life except one person, looks like. And it does look like they have two people fully out of the match compared to Apes not having a single person out of the match. Got a 250 units versus 400, and that 400 is those Spartans and Modal compared to GTD just not having the really any units here of thus value of substance of anything. They do have one stalwart there that will try to do great things, trying to bait out Apes. They do get a Spartan walk, but Apes realizing, hey, we don't need to take this fight, goes right back in and gets a good Zycalian volley in there for their troubles. Supply being built. Supply was cancelled. Unfortunate. My helots. As it looks like GTD rotating around C yet again here. Do like going around the C point. But aren't there any units? They are grouped up as they go into this fight, and one of them dies on the wall there, just a little bit out of position, caught with his pants down as they go into this fight against Modal. It's going to be kind of hard for me to get a camera angle here as they try to push into this, but it does not look like GTD will be able to do any pushing, as now Apes is actually pushing right back into GTD. The Spartans are walking straight through all of GTD's units, and there's nothing that GTD can do to stop these Spartans from going straight through. Good job by Apes. Amazing defense on Reginopolis. By both teams. Trips. No, just ignore trips. Yeah, just ignore the trip. Trip won't do anything to you. The trip can't hurt you. It's not real. Quite simply, not real. As we go into the post-game stats here, stats for nerds. If you like stats, let me tell you, these are some stats. Looking like we're having an average hero damage by GTD doing around 200k damage compared to APES. Here's their stats for nerds. We do have a DB doing 1 million damage total. Great job by that dual blade. Looking like APES having a little bit higher damage all around, maybe around that 400k as we go into the bottom there. They also have Burko at 1 point. Hey guys, we can't complain about Burko. He did 1.2 million damage. Like, he must get farmed. He stat padded. He threw some caltrops probably. Like, he did his job. I forgot to click the goddamn chart. Guys, he's top 15. You can't complain about it. He's top 15. He did a great job there. As we go into this next matchup, should be starting fairly soon, but let's go over some, I guess, post-battle analysis. As we go in, we do have time for a post-battle analysis, even though this next matchup should be starting fairly soon here. We are going to be doing WB versus AOD. I'm going to cover that A hold, because I think that is honestly what won the game for APES. Because that A hold was actually probably just got through GTD's cavalry, and as you can see when we went into that, GTD did not have the cav to like reinforce these fights. Let me figure out where the hell I have this shit. Is it this one? No. Hold on. This one. Yeah. Bang. 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 Keep going back. Keep going back. For those that missed it, this was a very good initial push here, and I think this is just kind of confusing by GTD. They have the CAFSM. They see that they want to go into this A point, but it seemed like they just got a little bit confused that APES was here and like kind of faking a sally with it. And you can see APES doesn't really have that high of value units here. Yeah, they have a few Liao, they have 2 Liaos, a Yorkist, but this is mostly Rat Pikes and Coots compared to GTD running a lot of their golds and purples into this. So if we started looking at this, it's 1550 versus 1370. So 1550 versus 1350, right? This Coutelier charge gets all the Sipahis, insane value. It looks like it gets some Spartans as well, maybe even a hero kill. Let me just go back real quick here. No, it doesn't look like it gets a hero kill, but it does get, it trades into a full unit. It gets value, as now some Sipahis do. I mean, not Sipahis, Couteliers get some damage in there as well. So already GTD taking heavy losses there. Losing a Sipahi unit for that 50% damage buff does kind of suck going into this. And then they just flood. The flood of cavalry goes into the rat pikes, and the rats try to hold. But as you can see, like how this kind of went down here, we saw so many cav, but now as it's turned out, a lot of that cav is gone. There is still some cav here, right? But most of those Liaos did in fact go down to the Ratana pike spam there. And they lost, you know, GTD lost 150 units compared to APES losing 300 units. But APES was 300 of greens. 300 greens. We lost rat pikes. Versus GTD losing Liaos, Order of the Dragon. You know, just some very strong gold cav, where APES is just losing some, we're losing some rats. Whatever, who cares? This is where it gets a little bit sketchy here. It's like, okay, yes, GTD won that fight, but as you can see, APES doesn't have to worry about C point because GTD only had one person on that A point. They don't have to worry about C because GTD still has to capture C. A. Fuck. They still had to capture another point, so this gave apes plenty of time. As you can see, the ball of death is approaching. It is very angry. And it is approaching. And GTD, while they do have, you know, they have a Spartan, we have a Liao, we have 2 dragons, that isn't going to stop the flood of very angry men running in. They just int 2 Liaos into there. The Spartans are walking, so they don't care about these Liaos, and just kill everything here. It does look like the Berserker shit. Everything just kind of dies. GTD just didn't have the group, the staying power to really hold the swarm of apes. As you can see where this comes down to, yeah, it's going more and more in favor of apes. We do into York into York, and apes does lose the York trade there, but as we go down to the nitty gritty, it's 900 versus 1250, which is still pretty good for apes' favor. They lost their greens, but GTD lost their golds. We're trading greens for golds. This is just an amazing exchange for apes going into this. And then we go into an arty phase of like nothing happens for quite a while, but that was an amazing play. It did look a little bit sketched there, but apes was able to pull it back and reset up and forces GTD to regroup, wait, and go in for another time. And then little funny skirmish here by Beast, finds the DB on GTD and just completely wins the DB using the Queen's invulnerability a little bit too early, as then the Yorkist just kills the entire Queen unit, and there's nothing the Queens can do. They already used their invuln, and those Yorks will very quickly clean them up, and then he gets out. We lose a few Yorks, but we got Queens. Granted, these Queens are probably not going to do anything at any point in the game, but hey, we traded our tier 4 Yorks for some Queens. That's always good value. Let us go into the first actual fight that they had here. This did a while. I do like how GTD did this setup. Let's go back a little bit more of these 2-pronged attack here, but you can see where apes just has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flaming comets that are being built here. Actually, I think they had a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had 6 flaming comets for this initial push. They did lose one fairly early there, but these flaming comets are just constantly battering into GTD. We do get the double kill on flaming comets there, but I do believe these 3 flaming comets that remain here on Ape's side, those 3 flaming comets do not go down and are actually shooting the entire fight. Realizing that GTD is setting up arty up here, immediately pushes into GTD. So Apes no longer has to deal with the arty that's getting spammed into them, and they still have their arty shooting into GTD, so it's a very good push here. And while let's ignore the move down the wall, guys. The move down the wall is to deal with the Yorkist that is coming up. Like it counts as a cavalry. Like surely it will do something. Oh, we're going to our next match.